So what is happening, guys? Welcome back to the video. So today's one is going to be a little bit more fitness orientated. So based on a poll I put up on Instagram yesterday, this one here, I'm going to do a plyo workout. So no weights whatsoever, just pure plyos, and see how we get on. But first, it's breakfast time. So any of you that followed me for any length of time over the last year will know that my meals, especially my breakfast and my snacks, very rarely change. So if you haven't guessed it by now, I am all about that granola, yogurt, dark chocolate with extra raisin hype. So that's about to go down now. So there it is. So decent amount of carbs, decent amount of fat with the dark chocolate, a little bit of protein between the yogurt and the dark chocolate as well, but not that much. But I will combine that with a protein shake in the next maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, depending on how full I am from that. And then it is now 5 to 10. I will have another meal then at about, we'd say 12ish, half 12, and then gym time at about 2 o'clock. So, most of you know I've been pretty quiet on social media in terms of actual stories. Because there's a lot of stuff going on in the background, a lot of moving parts, and I can't really talk about them yet. Getting closer to being able to kind of explain what's going on, and then after I can do that, then I will be more regular in obviously getting the vlogs out, getting more info on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook. Just so you know, what I have done over the last maybe 2 weeks is I've divided up where certain content goes. So just in case you didn't know, so there's a Facebook page, which is the Elite Performance Coaching business page. So all of the information which is regarding youth athletic development, so if you're a young person who's involved in sports and you're looking to get into the gym, things like that, then all the information will be found through there, but obviously through the website as well. There's a private Facebook page which you have to request access to. The link will be in the description box. That one is more general health and wellness, hints and tips, recipes, and well, it's kind of more the clinical health benefits of exercise and nutrition. There's not just me in there as well. I know there's a couple of other, I would say, health professionals in there as well. So again, if it's a place where you want to go and ask questions, or you want to ask me questions directly, then you can, and I will answer it in there. I'm averaging a video every day or two, so again, definitely worth getting yourself in there. Recently done one on females and the menstrual cycle and how that relates to, we'd say, performance and nutrition, so definitely worth getting a look at that. Instagram is going to be the place where I keep pretty much everything. So if I put up a piece of content or on the Facebook page or the private Facebook group, I will put it up there. So I'll use Instagram for everything, but I'm doing more, let's say, obviously like regular updates on myself and my own training on Instagram. Snapchat is just, again, a lot of questions come in there daily, and I'll answer them privately. But again, Snapchat, I just use Snapchat whenever something pops up. Get me on Twitter as well if you want. Twitter at the moment I'm just using to either start creative discussion with someone, or just kind of flash out a few ideas of people that I'm talking to. So again, that's the breakdown of where the content is. So again, if you're watching this and you have a preference for what content that you want, then that's the social media platform that you should be focusing more on. Ideally you go and follow me on all of them, because there's definitely something there for everybody, whether it's something that you take directly or something that you learn and you go and teach someone else. Again, that's perfectly fine. A lot of the stuff then will be kept on the website, so if you go to the website, again, link is in the description box. Go and check it out. Recently opened up spaces for online coaching, so starting to do a little bit more on that. Got 2 or 3 people signed up already, so if it's something that you're interested in, whether it's body composition related or whether it's sports related, anything like that, drop us a message, see if I can help you out. But as far as everything else goes, that's pretty much where I am at the moment. Again, getting closer to being able to speak to you about what's been going on, so getting excited about that. But time to get on with the rest of the day. What I'm going to do now then is I'm going to write 2 whiteboards. I'm going to write out the list of general guidelines you should follow when considering, one, if you're doing a plyometric session with someone else, in terms of coaching it or delivering it with your groups, and also if you're thinking of doing it yourself, because what you can do, especially given the fact that the forces you experience when you do a plyometric session is so high, if you try and go too advanced too soon, the likelihood of you getting injured or it being somewhat detrimental and getting the opposite effect of what you want pretty high. So a couple of general rules that you should follow, and then I'm going to write out my own one then on the other whiteboard, and then I'm going to show you. Okay, so that's how that. So the first board we have here is the rough outline of the general guidelines that you need to follow when you're considering plyometrics. So on this side, it works from this side to this side. It's not set in stone, so you don't just work all the way from here to here. They're on a continuum, so depending on where you are or where the person that you're working with is at, or the stage of the season it's in, what part of the week it's in, and again a whole load of other things that you need to think about. But here's where you can fit them in. So you've got, we'll say, the basic on this side to the more advanced tiers. So you've got, I'll just zoom in, should be able to see it a little bit better now. So you've got up here, so you've got bilateral to unilateral, so 2 legs to 1 leg. You've got slow to fast, low to high, short to long in terms of distance, and then it's joint range of motion. So what you can do is you can have a plyometric exercise that's got a large range of motion. So think of a squat jump, I'll be doing them later anyway, with a, we'll say a full squat, or a TRX squat jump with maybe a quarter squat. Again, one's a little bit more specific to the joint angles you'd see in a game of, we'll say, a field sport. So again, another thing to think about. Again, it changes the exercise slightly, changes the demand on the person that's doing them. Quality moving to quantity, so again, nailing the technique of every exercise that you're doing. General exercises towards sport specific, again, that one kind of comes back to the joint range of motion. So depending on the adaptations that you want from that specific session would dictate what we'll say, is it a general movement or is it a sport specific. So a general one would be, say, like skipping, and then we'd say like a sport specific one could be like pogo jumps. Again, I'll be doing pogo jumps later on anyway, so you'll see that. And then this one's not really a continuum, just the two things you need to think about. Because the last one is, so you've got linear and lateral, so obviously things moving in a straight line and then moving from side to side as well. So that's the first bit. And now based on that information that you've got there, we move into this. So this is going to be mine for later on. So what I've done is I've broken it down into 3 different parts. So here in the first part, I've broken it up into 3 different parts here, and then 2 different halves. So in the top half here, we've got our linear exercises, and then the bottom half, we've actually got our lateral exercises. So being a keeper, I need to be able to do both. So I need to be able to jump high, but also move from side to side as well in a dive or things like that. So 3 different parts. So the first part is going to be focused on landing and force absorption. So these ones are your slower exercises, moving through a full range of motion, and almost like a warm-up exercise, but kind of gradually building up. The middle section is, we'd say, plyometric strength. So again, range of motion here is still relatively big with some of the exercises. I'm trying to produce as much force as possible, still relatively quickly, but not as fast as I can. So moving through almost the full range, except for the top exercise here. Again, trying to produce as much force as I can, and then moving into the last exercise, or the last section. This is your plyometric power, which are, we'll say, pure plyometric exercises, where it's more of a reactive exercise. So you're not trying to produce as much force as the focus isn't on producing maximal force, it's on producing as much force as you can in as little time as possible. So again, more reactive exercises and more, we'll say, representative of what you see in sport itself. So in terms of the intensity gets higher from here all the way to the end, and likewise the volume of the exercises that I actually do gets lower towards the end. So up here we've got 2 sets of 10, 1 set of 10, 2 sets of 8, and then up to the top then we've got like 5 sets of 2. So we've got more sets but less reps. So again, for those of you who haven't seen my Instagram post that I posted yesterday, I'll put it here. I talked about your rest times when you are performing any type of, we'd say, power session need to be long enough so that you're not performing the session fatigued, because it's not a conditioning session. It's focused on producing quality movement, but also with a quick rate of force development. And if you start to get fatigued, you can minimize the effects you can get from that session. So that's that. I explained it quickly. Again, I will go through it a little bit more in detail if you want to. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comment section below. I am going to do a written article about all this as well, so you can go and read it. But for now, that is that, and I will see you in the next clip, which should be in the gym. So that's the first part of the warm-up done. Moving into part 1 of the main session. So we're going to start that now. So first half of part 1 is going to be calf raises and squat jump and counter movement jump. The second half of part 1 will be a broad jump and a hop and stick. Now, bear in mind the broad jump is a linear exercise by virtue of the movement that is created during it, but I'll put it in the second half anyway, because the first part is more about landing mechanics and force absorption, and a little bit of towards the end of the warm-up as well. part done. Normal rest, so 30 to 60 seconds between each set, and one set of each exercise except for the calf raises. We did a set with 2 legs and then a set with just 1 leg. Again, the main focus of part 1 is getting the landing right and movement quality is the main focus. So now I'm going to give myself about a 3 to 4 minute break and then move into part 2, which is a focus on kind of producing as much force as possible with each movement. For part 2, all I'm going to do is I'm going to record maybe a couple of reps of the very first set of each exercise rather than record the whole thing, because this vlog will end up being extremely long. It's already long enough as it is. So I'm going to record obviously the best reps of each set and include them in here. So, first exercise there is the TRX squat jump. And what you'll see now, the difference between this one and the counter movement jump is the squat jump starts from a relatively static position. What it does is it takes out the pre-stretch of the muscle before you jump, whereas the counter movement jump is a quick drop and jump, utilizing that kind of stretch shorten cycle that I'll talk about soon. Now moving into part 3, this is where the most intensive exercises are. A lot more sets, loads less reps, and kind of a lot more break in between. And just what you'll notice here now is the ground contact times are really short. These are pure plyometrics, so I'm trying to spend as little time as possible on the floor and also move as fast as I can, producing as much force as I can in as little time as possible. Last 2 exercises, single leg bounding and then single leg continuous hops, which is going to be the most intensive exercise of the whole lot. So roughly about 8-9 minutes left, including rest times. That's that, pretty basic plyometric session. A particular, I would say, session that I haven't done in a while. I've neglected quite a lot. I've been kind of focusing more on strength training when I get a chance to train. But yeah, so a lot of breaks. I think the whole session took me about just over an hour, but the fact that the rest times are so long takes up a huge chunk of it. Like, I've probably only worked for about 20 minutes. It's not very intensive in terms of your breathing, like a conditioning session would be, because
that's not the whole point. It's about either producing as much force as you can or producing as much force as you can in the smallest possible time frame and improving your ability to do so. So yeah, if you've got any questions, drop them in the comments box below. If you enjoyed the video, smash the thumbs up button. If you want to see more of these types of vlogs, let me know. Again, smash the thumbs up button, and I will catch you in the next video. Also, forgot to remind you, focus, the Budapest vlog is nearly finished, so it should go up either, you should be seeing this on a Friday, so the Budapest vlog should be going up on Sunday or Monday, so keep an eye out for that. It's about twice as long as the Nice vlog, so if you haven't checked that out, check it out now. But other than that, thanks for watching.